a part of Joe Biden that is really bothering me. A part of Joe Biden that is really bothering me. So, Biden is not only, when you look at the polls, suffering, but it just seems like he's hemorrhaging. So, young voters falling off from Biden, which is crazy because the Democratic Party needs young voters to win. And I can't even like blame the Democratic primary, because we have a primary that we vote in and we choose who should go. And I do think that in that moment, when it came down to the choices that we had, that Joe Biden was probably, and there's one other person I can think of that I might have picked over Joe Biden, but somebody who had the name recognition. I think Joe Biden was the second best choice for the Democratic nominee at the time to go against Trump. And he won against Trump. He won. So I can't really say anything there. I think that the voters made a good choice there. But since he's been in office, he's hemorrhaging young support, and then he's hemorrhaging like minority support. And I can't really speak for the Hispanic community. If I just go off my gut level, I think that it really has to do about like just the general economics of the country. Like I said earlier, with the inflation that's going on, and with the age thing, the way that he comes off to them. Now, let's talk about the most loyal supporters of the Democratic Party. And that's black voters who have been voting for the Democratic Party for a long time now, and who, when they show up to really vote for a Democrat, they put the Democrat in the winning position. Because if we're honest about it, it was the black vote that got Joe Biden the win, because it looked like he was about to lose to Bernie Sanders for a minute there, if we're to be honest about it. It wasn't until South Carolina, during the primary, it wasn't until they got to South Carolina that the black vote came out for Joe Biden and pushed him forward to the nomination. Now let's talk about what Joe Biden has done for the black community since then, because that's going to be important, because when I look at it, it looks like he's also losing support amongst black voters as well. Now, I'm going to be honest. If I could choose a different candidate for the Democratic Party, I would. But right now, that's not an option. And I'm going to get into that later as well. But let's talk about the black voters. Now, when he got in office, or when he was running for office, he made a lot of promises, right? So he promised that he was going to pick after a while of being prodded and nodded, he promised he was going to pick a female black vice president, which he did, which is cool. But I don't think that that's like the end all be all. Representation is always cool, but of course that's like the icing, like the cake has to be there. He also nominated Ketanji Brown Jackson to be the first black female justice on the Supreme Court, which she is now on there. I like that too, but once again, icing, not the cake. And then he made put a lot of black people in his cabinet and a part of his administration. Cool. Now, here's the thing. In 2020, do y'all remember the George Floyd protests that were going on all across the country? Do y'all remember that? And the Democratic Party is supposed to be the party that has the interests of black people. Now, this is what I remember. There was supposed to be criminal justice reform. There was supposed to be criminal justice reform coming from Joe Biden. And this is really sad because Donald Trump did criminal justice reform. Just being honest about it. But there was supposed to be criminal justice reform coming from the Democrats. Now, what ended up happening is the Democrats came out with a proposal for criminal justice reform. And the bill was actually pretty freaking good, to be honest. They came out with it in Congress. Now, the Republicans had Tim Scott, which is the only, I'm for sure, the only black senator on the Republican side in Congress. Now, I don't mean to be unfair because it's not like the Democrats have a whole bunch of black senators in their part too. I think they have 2, not counting Kamala Harris. So let's see. Now, Tim Scott comes with a counteroffer, and I'm gonna be honest, it's a lot weaker than what the Democrats propose. Now, the Democrats are in a position where both parties are willing to do some sort of criminal justice reform, so that Joe Biden, you could at least come to the black community and say, hey, I did something on this issue. And instead, Cory Booker, which is the black Democrat senator, he decides that he's no longer going to move forward with working with Tim Scott because he doesn't like Tim Scott's bill, rather than reaching a compromise. So the whole thing falls apart. So nothing got done. Now that to me is just silly. It's just silly. So nothing got done. Nothing got done. Like, Joe Biden should have pressured Cory Booker like, hey, get this done. Like, to be honest, like, something has to come of this. Like, figure something out, because right now is a moment and we could do something. We could do something. So he didn't get that done. Then Joe Biden has like an optics issue where he keeps like mistakenly saying like racist stuff. Like, I saw the interview with him and Charlemagne. Now this was before the election and he got elected, but he has like an optics issue. But since then, like, he really hasn't done anything for like black voters. And I went through online, he has like a little fact sheet on the White House Facebook page. Not the Facebook page, he has it on the White House website. Fact sheet about what he's done for the black vote. There's like one other thing that was specifically done for black people was done for black farmers, where he tried to like help them for real. And then of course, the Democrats are better about enforcing anti-discrimination laws. And the DOJ actually enforces anti-discrimination laws, which is good too. So he's hemorrhaging black support right now. And I'm going to be honest with you. I can understand why black voters are irritated with the Democratic Party, because I am too. I am too. Because they don't come through enough to actually fix the issues that are going on. And I understand that. Now, I'm going to also be honest about this. In this election, and normally I'm not the kind of person to say something like this, because I think that at the end of the day, it comes down to the voters, and when you have a politician that's not showing up for you, I think that they need to face consequences for that. But I will be honest, I am really, really uncomfortable with Donald Trump getting a second term. And the reason why is because of what happened on January 6th, where, you know, he was really, really not accepting the results of the election. And if there's conservatives watching this, I know that you're going to be like, oh, well, of course you're going to just support Joe Biden again, and whatever you have to say about January 6th. But I'm just being honest. Like, in a world that makes sense, like, I looked at the facts, the election was 100% legitimate. And, well, Trump was, like, saying stuff like there's stuffed ballots and, like, people were stuffing the ballot boxes. Like, and this is the part that makes it, because I truly think that, like, you know, it's not like democracy is going to end overnight, because I think that people will really, like, fight back against that happening. But it's just the fact that there's, like, a lot of Republicans that believe him. Like, a lot. And I think that that's dangerous. So, I think that, I think that it is a good idea for people to support Joe Biden still. This is the one election where I'll say I'm going to suck it up and vote for Joe Biden. And it's really not a vote for Joe Biden. It's really a vote against Donald Trump, to be honest. And that's what I think that this election is going to come down to.